really don't know. It's difficult to say where folks are at. I just know that when I saw the report that came in from the Joint Information Agency regarding what particular parties were speaking about in terms of all more 16 to 30 coming together to discuss particular grievances that they have, and do so where they, I think the words were, they want to reclaim their spot or take their spot. We all have a role to play. We all have a position to take. So I comprehend where they're coming from. Where I disagree is when parties say they have to have a meeting for all more 16 to 30 so that they can come together to, as I'm not going to say these are the exact words, I'm paraphrasing. I only saw the report twice, and the first time I wasn't actually reading it, I just looked at the title of it. The second time I actually read it, and in that particular report spoke to the issue of parties looking to sit the elder Moors down and basically throw them in the back and lock them away and keep them quiet type thing. That was the energy I was getting from that particular dispatch. And I know what Noble Drew Ali said. We all know what Noble Drew Ali said about the time when the Moors would come 3 and 4 generations from his era. And he spoke to the issue of basically these Moors would come in, eyes open, seeing and knowing. Information age will do that to you, or being on the cusp of the information age will do that to you. I get all that, and I comprehend all parties' views. My issue with all that is, though, is look at our folks now. We are basically fractured beyond belief. Artificial barriers all over the place, and you got so many over here, so many over there, so many over here, so many over there, and they all have their perspectives, and that's a wonderful thing because it's a thing called variety. I do get it. But it's when you have artificial barriers and all these folks are separated where they're hostile towards one another. You ain't no real more, and this, that, and the other, all this other carrying on. All this lower self stupidity. I'm lost. I just totally don't get it. You cannot reconcile logic and reason with that which is illogical and unreasonable. And that behavior is nothing short of illogical and unreasonable. So I look at these things for what they really and truly are, and as I see these folks come together and make the position that they want to have some repeated functions where they basically move to pit young against elder, that's that Willie Lynch stuff, and I totally don't see the point. And you would think our folks would learn by now. So I see all this as unnecessary. And so this is why I directed my Department for the Protocols to, in fact, convene the Moor Harmony Assembly. The Moor Harmony Assembly is basically for all of our folks to come together and bring all their grievances. Everybody else comes together and they air out their issues and they resolve them. As Moors, as dark hued folks on the planet, the original men and women on this planet, we have to do the same thing. Because it makes good sense to come together, because we get more done together than we do apart. So forget the artificial barriers and the lines and the crap and the ego and the drama. I don't get it. Just totally don't get it. Why don't we just do something smart for once? Why don't we all come together, irrespective of the artificial barriers, the artificial lines, the ego, the selfishness, and the lower self crap? Why don't we just cut all that for a minute? How about that? We come together behind closed doors and let us air out all of the grievances one by one. And then from there, let's actually sit down and solve them. But for us to do that, we have to humble ourselves first. Because it's not just speaking out what our grievances are. Let them be spoken, but those that are there have to listen. We hear and we listen. Don't dismiss where folks are coming from. Hear them out. I'm not saying we have to all agree, but we have to agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Let us do that, so we can one by one solve these issues, so we can get down to the real business at hand. Taking care of food, clothing, and shelter for all of our offspring, all of our babies. and all our posterity. That makes sense to me. That's sound. That's reasonable. That's logical. That's real. And folks that choose not to do that are showing themselves for who and what they really and truly are. Frauds. They're showing themselves for who they and what they really and truly are. Lower self, arrogant, apathy, ignorance, and inertia has taken over their brain. That's the opposite of what our folks need. That's the opposite of what our future offspring deserve. It dishonors our father and mother and their fathers and mothers all the way down back in time out of mind. And we get nowhere by doing this. So I say we shall convene in the, unfortunately it will be the winter time, but I didn't see the point of waiting till the spring to do this. And I didn't want to do this on an emergency basis where we call this meeting within a matter of a few days. I want no one to have any excuses not to come. So we gave us a little more than 60 Earth days out to give folks time to make arrangements, financial and otherwise, to be on post. And you know what? Thus far, we sent out, last tally I saw was just over 1,100 evites. And we haven't gotten a single email in response. We haven't gotten a single phone call or text or anything in response. So that shows me what folks really and truly are. And I'm saying we can turn this thing around. I think it's imperative that we have a more harmony assembly. Instead of us getting together and pitting young versus elder, no. Let's get together and get everybody in the room. Let's get all of the dirty laundry into the washing machine with the soap and everything else that we need, and let's get that laundry cleaned so we can get down to business. The business of taking care of our business. Food, clothing, and shelter for all of our folks, fair and equitably put out there. That makes sense to me. Everything else is not logical, it's not real, it's not reasonable, and it's not sound. And I think that we got to do this right now.